All right. Good morning, everyone. New day today. Woke up with everything pointing in the direction that it was time for me to do this today. Won't give you any details about the particulars of that. All I know is that I know that I know. Now, this is just a little introduction. There's going to be many things being covered on this channel from here forward. I'm hoping to have guests and people stepping forward who have a like frequency and a like perspective to this, so that we can join collectively and find one another and move across our journeys accordingly. If you've noticed, if you got your notification, the title of this channel has been changed again. I originally changed it to The New Way of the Heart, and I did that on purpose. It was to ease into the idea that the name was going to be changed. There are many of you that have been subscribers to this channel throughout its metamorphosis, where it began and where it is now. All of these things are not coincidental. They're all exactly as they should be. So if this change does not resonate with you, if it does not fit your paradigm, wonderful. Go find your peace, go find your truth, and do what you need to do. If it does, wonderful. If you're not sure, wonderful. Stick around, watch and see what happens, and see if it resonates with you. The new channel name, The Way of Mary. This is something that's been coming about in my spirit and in my story and in my truth. Well, if I were to be honest, my entire life. So this is the beginning of that. I've changed the imagery and the name, and the format going forward is going to be an exploration of the new that's coming in. This new that's coming in, and the old is needing to make way for it. We're going to be discussing many topics about how this process is going and how it's going to go from here, and what it looks like from the perspective that has been afforded to me. I do not expect anyone to take what my truth is that I'm sharing here as their own truth unless it resonates. It isn't about me saying that I have something that someone else doesn't. As a matter of fact, this whole thing is about allness and oneness and totality, and the inclusion and combination and combining and melding together of balanced frequencies for the all, for everyone, for the entire one that is what we call the collective, if you will. So, this is just a pretty short introductory to let you know that that's what's taking place. I have some notes here, and it's just a little bit of a beginning intro, I think. The key to our way of Mary. I'm not going to just read the notes. I'm just going to read them to remind myself. This new that's coming in is very different than the old. I have some very profound understandings that I've come to, and I will be sharing them. It's very different than the old. The energy and the frequency of the new is that of relationship, a place where we relate. It is the divorcing of learning, putting learning aside, forgetting about learning. Learning is the old. Relation is the new. Putting aside the creation of things, institutions, groups, religious structures, and replacing thingness with relationness, with connectedness, with masculine and feminine divine energies balancing themselves out. If you imagine something that's out of balance, like, these scales that we have, you've seen them, I'm sure. Let's say you put 2 pounds of salt here and only a pound and a half of salt here. And then, this pound of salt, somebody adds another 3rd pound. And I'm probably doing this the wrong way, aren't I? No, I'm not. This is the heavy side. I got it right. Anyways, so 3 pounds. So we've got 3 pounds of salt here, and we've got a pound and a half of salt here. And let's change the components. We've got salt, and then let's say have a common condiment, salt and pepper. right? Everybody uses salt and pepper. So it's a good analogy. So we have the salt here, and then we have a pound and a half of pepper. Now, so these things are out of balance. So if they're out of balance, do we need more salt or do we need more pepper? Okay, so what's going to happen is that pound and a half of pepper is going to have to come out to 3 pounds so that they balance each other out and they become connected and even and balanced and one whole again. It makes no sense if we need to balance the salt out with the pepper that we keep adding more salt to it. That's the way of the old. The thing that has been out of balance for many eons is divine feminine frequency, divine feminine energy. And we're going to be discussing this. And once again, this is going to be a saying you're going to hear me say a lot of, because this is not about a gender. I always say, and this is very kind of crude, this isn't for children, so it's totally okay. Boobs or balls, people. This isn't about being a girl or a boy, a man or a woman. This is about a process that begins within our own kingdom in balance, and then the inner becomes the outer. As above, so below. Seek first the kingdom, and all these things will be added to you. It makes no sense for us to balance the scales out with more of what is already weighted this third dimensional plane down. What we need is what has been diminished. It's no more important, no more valuable, no more, no less. These are measurements. And I always say, if we begin to measure things, whose measuring stick are we going to use? How do you measure? Now, I know that that's an analogy, a visual analogy of measurements, but it's about weight, not measurement. That's the image I'm trying to put in your mind, that it makes no sense to continue to add salt to an unbalanced scale if what's lacking is the pepper. What is not lacking, see, once again, the human language is very difficult, and we're going to be going over these things too. It's not necessarily lacking. What it is it's just an imbalance. The balance is being brought back in. This is the new. It is a divine feminine surge. And it is occurring within each individual, whether you're in masculine or feminine form on this earth plane in this incarnation. It starts here. And then as it becomes balanced here, the perfect balance here, and we're doing that inner kingdom work, and this is occurring with many, that balance will become manifest in the outer, and we will see it. We don't see it yet. When you look out your window, when you watch your news, when you talk to your friends, when you step outside of your door, do you see balance? Do you see anything representing the new besides your little circles that your tribe that's being attracted to you if you're on this path? No. So this is going to be a space where I share what's been given to me, regardless of the outcome. This is the introduction to the way of Mary. The way of the Marys. I also say that also because, once again, this Christedness is not an individual situation. It is as far as the east is from the west. It is like the lightning. And I will speak a lot about the things that Yeshua said, because Yeshua, Jesus, if you will, if you don't know his name by that, Isu, he's got many names, brought this in. He ushered this entire movement in, and then he handed the baton off to somebody. I'll leave you with a question. Read the Nag Hammadi, see what Yeshua said about Mary, and who was at the foot of the cross when he decided to leave this form in order to make the statement he needed to make to put this into play. Who did he leave the way in the hands of? It's a very good question. Go research it out and find out, and we're going to be covering some very beautiful and wonderful topics on this channel. I don't know how soon I'll be starting, but I wanted to get this established. I love you all so much, and I'm greatly appreciative of your time that you spent with me today. Thank you, and I'll be seeing you soon.